You smell nice.
You say, oh yeah. My dear. What kind of sidearms are those? Hello everybody, welcome back to Warframe. I am the Warshide, and today's video is not going to be too terribly long because this is more of a discussion video. It involves the Kim system. Alright? So with the old peace update and all that stuff, and the Kim system in the chat, we were given access to this section. You got Leon, Roth, Mai, and this Palm Tulab. Alright? So you get to chat with these three. You have to earn your way to chat with Leon by progressing with Marie in the chat and all that stuff. So I don't know if there's gonna be spoilers or anything, so I'm just gonna put spoilers just in case because this is just a talking episode. Alright. When I started this game, there was a name that kept popping up every now and again. Alright? A bad guy's name. An evil guy's name. Alright? What's that guy's name? Like, he's an interesting bad guy from Far Cry 5, the religious one. He was, I don't know what this is doing with anything, but he was a bad guy that I actually enjoyed. I wanted to know more about him. However, Ballas and Warframe, all I literally have to do is think of the sacrifice quest. That's all I have to do. And whatever rage was dissipating towards Ballas as a character immediately rises to the top. Now, why am I saying that, mind you? Okay? Because with the introduction of Roth and Uriel and the proto-framed Roth, which is an Orokin, blue-skinned Orokin and everything, the enemy. All right. Now, in my mind, I'm like, please don't make me get to the point where I am even considering the fact that Ballas might have redemption. Don't make me do that. Don't make me do that. I enjoy hating the piss out of that bugger. I really, really do. But in speaking with Roth, and I get, spoilers and all this other stuff, okay? Where is it at? So in the chat system, you end up talking to Roth about, what was the name of the one that he directly served under, was right hand of the worst executors of all. Which one did you serve? You have heard me speak of her before, and more importantly, a hint of what we were planning. But there's a story for another day. Executor Nitok, Grand Regent Executor Nitok, to be precise, commander of all our military forces and the most vicious and deadly of the 7 Golden Lords. Golden 7. Ah! Do you know what the best thing about gold is, Drifter? It can be endlessly melted down and repurposed into something better. Listen. I believed, and in a way still do, that the Orokin were salvageable, that we could have turned the Empire around, but the Executors, no. They had to be stopped. They were all the worst that humanity had to offer by a matter of degrees. And this is coming from me, usurper. So allow me, this devil of Tau himself, to assure you, as a connoisseur myself, that Ballas was not the worst among them. I'm not being nice to Roth or anything. I'm not going out of my way to be a jerk or anything. Let's say I'm being saucy ever so slightly, all right? So I did apologize. Got a little heated there for a minute. But he says this. It might be a common misconception that all we Orokin did was backstab and murder each other. There were plenty of that, don't misunderstand me. We were nigh immortal. We had little else to do. But we were also deeply passionate people. No one made art in the way that the Orokin did. No one composed music or theater or poetry, the likes that we composed. And no one loved as deeply as we did, when our hearts fell for one another. That part. And no one loved as deeply as we did, when our hearts fell for one another. Okay? Nah! Here it is. But such horrors are hard to feel unless they're witnessed. Such tragedy is not understood in numbers. I could go on at length about what I have seen, but to you, they will simply be that, stories. Listen, this is why I believe DE is trying to change the heart of the player towards Ballas. I think so. I think if they can, anyway. But to you, Ballas shall always be the far more present and horrifying malefactor, and such is to be expected. But there's much to him you do not know. There is already too much that has been said about that cretin, and more that is needing to be said, I fear. Like what? Very long story, one that I had time for at the moment. Now this is the one that I'm gonna read to you fully, and this is okay. This is Rolf. You know they were in love once. Who? Ballas and Margulis. I can almost hear you scoff from the sanctum.
New alert marked on navigation, Tenno.
It's hard to believe anyone could love you the way you interrupt me all the damn time. I can almost hear you scoff from the sanctum, but it's true. I fear you only knew Ballas long after things went terribly awry. People don't change that much. He was always deep down capable of what he did. Perhaps you are right. Or perhaps we all are, in the end, raw jewels. We all have our flaws, characteristics, veins here, blemishes there. And we may be faceted certain ways to either catch the light and set it into elaborate works of art, or sharpened into weapons, or shattered into dust. Perhaps that is a naive belief, and we are all indeed immutable. You would know better than I, or so I hear. But you have me telling this all out of order. Allow me to start properly. Long before the Zeraman 10-0 launched and the Tenno were even a blip on the proverbial screen, Margulis, the Archimedean, and Ballas met during the opening of a new domed conservatory. Ballas was there for the sake of the ceremony. We do love our pomp and circumstance, of course, and Margulis was desperately attempting not to be noticed. Something you must understand, my usurper, is that Ballas had no reason to associate with her. No reason at all, unless his infatuation was genuine. It was not just lust, for he could have whomever he wished, and did quite often. If he wanted her, he could have simply had her and been done with her. He was an executor, one of the most powerful of the seven. In fact, he could have summoned her to his bedchambers and she would have been there without a second thought. But that is not what he did. Ballas took one look at her that evening and he was stricken, Drifter. Positively and absolutely beside himself. I had never seen anything like it. It was as though no one else in the room even existed, save for Margulis. He seemed even somehow too shy to speak to her. Him! Ballas! Really? I swear on whatever remains of my honor, and what reason would I have to lie? What do I care of your opinion of the validity of their relationship? It simply saddens me that you let me so quickly simplify something that is decidedly far more complicated than you would have it. They were in love, whether you wish to believe it or not. Ballas eschewed all class rules and tradition to take as his lover, and his sole romantic companion, an Archimedean. Only true love could have sent a man so spectacularly mad as it sent him when it all went so very wrong. Ballas was the one that had her executed. First, let us assume all you know is correct, and that his actions that were purely of his own accord. Let us assume that there were no other political maneuverings or blackmail or anything else being done behind the scenes that may have forced his hand. Even if that were to be the case and Ballas called for her execution entirely without influence, consider that it was already too late. But the betrayal he felt had already cleaved him in two. His heart and his mind were already broken. I'm not going to start feeling bad for him if that's what you're asking me to do. I'm not asking you to have anything of the sort. Ballas deserves anything but whatever piss you can spare to spend on wherever you buried his corpse, if he even has a grave. I'm merely stating that on the day he called for her execution, he was a madman. I would not be surprised if some part of him did not entirely recall doing the deed after the fact. Ballas loved Margulis with his whole person, completely, entirely devoted to her. He would have sacrificed anything and everything for her. His soul, his body, the Orokin Empire, anything you could possibly dream of. No cost was too great. No morals were sacrificing. If you had handed him a newborn babe and told him Margulis wished its brains dashed out upon the rocks, it would be dead before you finished your sentence. He would have burned the origin system to ashes and rebuilt it in her image, usurper. But herein lies the tragedy. Margulis. Ah, Margulis. Dear, sweet, darling Margulis. she still had a conscience. And when she saw the poor Tenno, the poor void-torn children, something in her life was more important than Ballas. Something in her life was worth sacrificing her life for. That was not him. That was not her love for him. And he knew this, my sweet drifter. He knew this from the moment she laid eyes on them, and it was driven home when her mad animals ensured that they were the last she ever saw. Or at least, that was what the rumors were amongst us Orokin. Can you imagine the joy amongst the Orokin? Seeing Ballas' precious Archimedean void-torn rabid brats burn out her eyes? But I think it was before then, at the precise moment Margulis fought to save the Tenno, that Ballas' heart shattered into 1,000 pieces and never recovered. For he knew he had been supplanted in her own. I suppose for that reason I pitied him. But the rest of what followed, a love story for the ages, and how it ended in such a broken tragedy. I wish you could have seen how they would smile at each other. And this is what I said after all that. I'm glad that their love was real, that he was complicated back then, and that Margulis wasn't just being played with the whole time. Indeed, sometimes it brings me peace to think that even that Lord of Depravity can find a companion. There is hope for the rest of us, Ha! I'm thinking we haven't seen anything yet in regards to the vile actions of the Orokin rule yet. I think that they're trying to have us turn kind of slightly towards Ballas in a more forgiving way, and there's gonna be a story coming in 2026 about that. That's my understanding. I think it's going in that direction. I think there's gonna be something other than the Orokin that's gonna be really, really bad. That's what I think. It's gonna be bad. But I'm very interested to know your thoughts, what you think, and all that jazz. But I'm excited. All right, I'm excited for 2026. Going to town, man, and just grinding away. But I'm interested to know your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. And never forget, we grind in game and we grind in life. Until the next time, bye bye.